Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Artful, and I'm your host here on the Behind the Canvas podcast, where we take a peek into the minds of some of your favorite artists. Today on the podcast, we have SuperRaeDizzle. Hooray!
Hey.
Hey. Ray and I have been talking really talking on the phone only once, but we've kind of had a few brief interactions in the last few weeks.
What she's saying is that we're homies.
Yes, exactly. And I don't know, I guess I found your channel through the Gucci pen review that you did.
Oh man, that video.
That's a big one. That's a really big one.
Yeah, I think that's my most viewed.
What would you say, like your channel, just kind of describe it to us.
Okay, well, I do art videos and I do a lot of realism art. I like to do a lot of trends on YouTube, keep it fresh. I like my channel to be where people who aren't interested in necessarily learning how to draw can watch it. So like anybody can watch my channel. I try to focus on like a entertainment aspect. I like to try new things and just all around. If you guys are new to my channel, we have a lot of fun over there.
Yeah, and your thumbnails, your thumbnails are always like, that's like the first thing I noticed was like, they're so clickable. They're just like,
aw,
they're
thank you.
calling to me. And then I really loved that drawing of Dali you did.
Oh yeah,
that one.
yeah, that was one of my favorite ones too. Which that one's an old one. I don't really get a lot of time nowadays with YouTube to spend that much time on a piece. But yeah, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, because that was just what really intrigued me. And then the Gucci pen and always it's very interesting too. Like I feel like your videos always have like a good amount of energy in them, but it's not like excessive ever. It's always like, it makes me feel excited watching them.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Yeah, I try to make it so it's like, it kind of has like a relaxing element when it comes to the actual drawing process, but like at the beginning, I want to like entertain people. So it's like, it's truly a balance of like trying to make it too much, but not enough. You know what I'm saying? Like make it nice.
Yeah.
So, thank you. I appreciate that.
We're talking about how being a YouTuber and an art YouTuber specifically, like it's all checks and balances and
yeah, definitely 100%.
Trying to find some place between what you love to do and what your audience wants to see.
Yeah, definitely. But what it comes down to is, they're there to see me make artwork. And, that's ultimately what I believe I'm here on this earth for is, to make artwork.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's clearly, you're doing something right because people love your content, myself included.
Oh, thank you.
And, it just, the goodness in all of it really shows through, and the passion and that you're an artist from the core, because it's not only like the art that you're creating, the content and the ideas behind the videos, that's part of it,
Yeah, 100%. Even before I was an art channel, a lot of people don't know this, but I've had my channel since 2000, I think 10 is when I made it. And I've been making videos since I think I made it in 2009. My first video was in 2010. And even back then, it was a way to be creative and make these really silly videos. And I never had intentions of like growing my channel. I always thought like, hey, maybe someday I'll be a YouTuber. But, it was always something I loved to do just for the hell of it. I'd get like maybe 10 views on a video, 20 views on a video, but it was always something that I love to do. And so now that I can combine video making and, artwork, it's like one of the best things ever.
Yeah, and that's what's so unique, I feel, about YouTube in general, is just turning these passions that, especially in a competitive world of artists, it's like a facet of being in the art community. It's not just
definitely
drawing anymore. It's just so much more.
100%. 100%. And I feel lucky because I feel like the art community on YouTube is probably one of the nicest, most open-hearted, kind. I couldn't ask for like a better community.
I 100% agree. Like we were talking too about you and I about like some other communities and the drama and the intensity, and it's not that there's like a lack of that, but I feel like the art community is definitely the safest feeling community for sure.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And I think it's because like with artwork, everybody has their own flair to it that can be appreciated. Everybody has like their own thing. And it's so cool when everybody like comes together and it's the best.
Absolutely. And I'm so happy to have you here. I'm so happy that
Oh
you're
yeah, me too. Thank you so much. I
the
really
first
appreciate it.
guest. Yeah, and I definitely feel comfortable with you being the first guest, because it's like we're similar. We
Yeah, definitely.
we have a lot in common that as we continue to discover. And I feel like this was just kind of meant to be from the beginning.
Yeah, actually, the very first time that I seen one of your videos and like your voiceovers with all the crazy stuff, I was like, "Oh, this girl's it. Like, we're gonna be good friends."
So that's just wonderful, and I'm just really glad to have you here. And
Well, thank you.
I think we should probably get into the 10 personal questions that I've prepared. And this is obviously the first episode of the Behind the Canvas podcast. But these 10 questions I want you guys to all get very familiar with. They may be tweaked over time. Lord knows that I did tweak them a little bit, just grammatically, I guess. But they're basically just trying to get a little bit further into the minds of some of your favorite, mostly internet artists, is what I'm kind of going for, YouTuber artists, because like Ray and I had been talking about, there's so much more than just what you see with the
100%.
videos, So I think this is a good way
Yeah, 100%.
for YouTubers to be able to take the risk and talk about themselves and their backgrounds, and they can do it on somebody else's channel. So if it doesn't go great, it's on me. But yeah, so let's go ahead and get into this. The very first question is, what is a false perception people have about you?
I guess that I'm a really outgoing person, on my YouTube channel. I'm by myself, and obviously when I'm a very, very introverted person by nature. And so when I'm by myself in my room with my camera, even then I still get a little nervous, but on my videos I'm really like, "Hey, hi, how's it going?" But and it is myself. It's just a little bit more excited version of myself because in the real world, I'm a lot more shy, I'm a lot more socially awkward beyond belief, and I don't know. I think people have like a view of me that I'm much more exciting, I guess, but in reality, I'm very shy and I keep to myself a lot more than what I portray in my videos. And a lot of people who know me in real life, who've seen my videos, they tell me all the time, like, I wouldn't have ever guessed just by watching your videos alone that you're so introverted. And yeah, I guess that's probably what I would say.
And I think that's like a pretty common theme among a lot of YouTubers and online content creators is in order to garner a following or keep a following, you have to maintain a certain amount of hey, ho, whoa, wackiness.
Yeah, definitely.
An amplification of one's personality, but people don't realize it. We're just talking to a camera or a microphone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's like when you say you can be the most truest version of yourself in front of the people you're most comfortable with. Well, it's true for us with cameras and microphones.
Yeah, definitely. 100%. And yeah, it's very I guess it's like a thing that most people don't realize about a lot of YouTubers is that we're all just, kind of shy behind the scenes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's almost like a point of connection as well, because I feel like, especially with the art community, a lot of artists were just pretty shy, kind of awkward people. And that's where the art kind of comes from, is that
Yeah, definitely.
We see life and we move through the world a little differently, a little bit more colorfully, but internally than other people.
Yeah, definitely. Another thing that kind of interferes is that for me, whenever I do artwork, I like to put on my headphones. I like to just get lost in what I'm doing. I like to learn something like a podcast, put on music, and I just like to get involved with my artwork. And sometimes it can be kind of hard, with YouTube because there's a camera right above me.
Yeah.
And so it could be anything from like having trouble like angling my head not to be in the way or, and so I feel like that's probably like the only hard part I have with being so introverted is like trying to get in my artwork, but at the same time still be out of it for the camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like still trying to be entertaining while making artwork, like concentrating and talking at the same time.
I feel you so much with the head in the camera thing because like and I'm sure you get this too, like I'll be doing something that requires a lot of detail, but I'm like, I need
Oh
my face
man.
up to that. I need it up to the paper, baby. Like this
Yes.
isn't gonna
Oh my
work.
gosh. 100%. Yeah.
Like the hand shaking and everything, like I can't see. No amount of glasses is gonna help this. Like this is
At this point, I've
just
just like decided to cut that out because, so it's like one shot, it's like, and then the next one, it's all detailed. And I'm like, well,
hate to
that or
break it
10
to you
minutes in my
guys.
head. So,
Question number 2 is who has inspired you most during your artistic career?
I wouldn't even say who, but what. I feel like as an artist, I feel like we just see the world, and this is so cliche, but we see the world differently.
Yeah.
Like just yesterday, for example, I took a picture of a pillow that was sitting on my couch just because like the lighting was hitting it with on one side, like the indoor lighting was hitting it, and then the outdoor lighting was hitting it. And it was like this beautiful, like, and it was a pillow, it was stupid. An average person would look at
This
that.
is a gorgeous pillow.
Yeah, but I mean, like the colors and like the contrast of it. So I feel like life, I know that sounds so cheesy, but like life in general is what makes me inspired. It could be literally anything at any time. I could be walking and, download that piece of information in my head for later use in my artwork or it could even be people like music or Freddie Mercury, it could be so many different things that inspire me.
I love that.
I don't think I could just say who or what because there's just so many all the time, all day, every day things that I just like stare at stuff, and just try to get like capture the moment and try to capture the way light hits things. And I think that has a lot to do with my art style too. With realism, you study a lot of what you see, you know what I mean, as opposed to, like a cartoony kind of thing. So yeah, I definitely would say it's just a little bit of everything.
Yeah. And like when you're talking about the pillow, what's so funny? Like I started like visualizing it like a pillow, but then also like, and I'm sure you do this too, where it's like I kind of like zoom in and look at like the microsphere, the
Yeah.
tiny little bits and pieces and the
Yes.
fabric, and I
Yes,
really
yes,
feel
yes.
that.
Yeah, 100%. I need to stop saying that,
No,
but
I
yeah,
do that too. I love saying 100% too.
but yeah, it's just, and my boyfriend, his brain works much differently than mine. He's a scientist, like that's his job. I'm the artist, he's a scientist. And sometimes he'll like see things and he won't understand like why I'm staring at something or why I have a picture of this on my phone. And, it can be kind of hard to explain to like a non-artist, like the beauty of something,
Yeah, yeah. And like creative minds,
Yeah.
and like there are people who in their brain they compartmentalize and their brain is maybe filled with blocks. Well, artists' brains were filled with blobs of slime that intermingle and on top of each other, and it's
Yeah.
complex, but at the same time it's making complexity out of things that are simple.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
finding
agree.
that.
And we're pretty lucky to have that.
Oh yeah, and it's and then there's like the artists that can, I always forget what it's called. It's like synesthesia or something where they can see sound or taste shapes. Like,
Oh, wow.
I can't, yeah, it's like a neurological thing. I'm not 100% sure. Somebody's bound to correct me, but it's when they hear music, they see these like fantastical shapes in their head, and they're like people who can taste shapes and colors. And I just think, maybe not to that extreme, but I feel like a lot of people with creative minds in general, like things are different and things are processed differently, and it's
Yes.
fantastical in our own heads.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that also has a lot to do with like, that old like stigma of like, oh, well, artists are weird. It's just we are weird in
Yeah.
our own like unique way.
Weird and yeah, just totally different processes and going on in our heads, just like a rainbow computer at Disneyland. Like it's just
Yeah, really.
something going on up there. But I love that. I love that it's general like that. Question number 3 is, what has been the most difficult obstacle you've had to face in terms of actual artistic execution?
Oh, we're gonna go there. We're gonna go there.
We're gonna go hard.
Well, for me, it's been a constant struggle just to like break outside of my comfort zone.
Mm,
And that goes into like deeper issues, I feel like, because I'm such a
I
perfectionist
feel that.
that it's hard for me to like break loose. It's hard for me to be happy with my own artwork. It's hard for me to like, you know what I mean? Like with my artwork, sometimes nothing is ever good enough. Nothing is ever, and it's hindering. Like it's good for a little bit because it drives me to do better and better,
Yeah.
improve myself. But I get to that point where like sometimes artwork will even stress me out because I'm like, this is not going good. This is not good enough. What will everyone think? What will, you know what I'm saying? Like I put so much pressure on myself, my artwork. And I guess because, like I said, that's what I believe I'm put on this earth for, is to make artwork. And so if I can't do that right, it's really, really frustrating. But at the same time, it's like I need to have mistakes. I need to like learn how to let loose. And it can be really hard for me because a lot of my art friends, they'll just be creative and just make a lot of things. But for me, I have to have like a idea. I have to go in there and I have to like execute it perfectly.
Yeah.
And if I don't, I'm hard on myself for like the next 2 weeks, So it bleeds into my YouTube channel a lot because I make artwork that I'm not happy with, or, sometimes deadlines will come up. And I guess what I'm trying to say is like, I wish every single work was like the damn Mona Lisa.
Yeah, yeah, and it becomes kind of counterintuitive because we as artists,
Yeah.
we try to put into our art, we work on our art to make ourselves happy, to kind of heal any kind of mental health things that we're going through, our anxieties, but then we become so focused on the actual execution of the art that it's like it's turning into an anxiety itself, and it's finding a balance there. And,
Yeah.
especially, and I'm sure for you, you get it like, well, you'll spend all this time on one thing filming it, but then you don't like how it turns out. But it's like, you can't waste that footage, you know?
Yep. Yep.
And you're
Oh
like,
man, that's
no.
cutting deep right now. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
I've just reached through the screen, grabbed your
Yeah.
heart, call a mod that and pulled it right out of your chest. Like,
Yeah, definitely. And I don't think I've talked about it on my YouTube channel. I want to be more open about it, but I don't know. I'm such a perfectionist and I'm slowly getting over it. I'm slowly doing artwork for myself, by myself, with the intentions that no one's ever going to see. Practicing other things in my life to like just loosen up a little bit, like de-stress, like don't worry about it kind of thing. So that's by far been like the hardest thing I've had to do with my art career, is just let loose.
yeah, get out your comfort zone,
Yes.
do something different, but let yourself make mistakes and not worry about it being perfect.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Or, I mean, do you ever feel like, too, like people are expecting a certain style from you, and if you step outside of that, then people are going to be like, oh, boo, 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 we wanted the other thing.
It's actually kind of, I guess, the opposite.
Really?
Because like I do a lot of realism. That's what I love. That's what like gets me going. Like I love, because just anybody can see realism and they can connect with that.
Yeah.
Because like a lot of like your every average day, especially where I'm from, New Mexico, a really secluded area with not that much art around. They an average person wouldn't really understand a lot of like like modern art and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
anybody who sees realism is like, wow, you made that with paint. That is so cool. And it just gets people interested, and it's just, I don't know. It's, for me, it's really gratifying to like have that connection. So
Yeah.
um,
And it's guaranteed because people know what it is
Yeah,
that they're
yeah,
looking
I
at.
like that a lot. And so my biggest problem is that a lot of people, well, you should try something else. You should try something new that you're not good at. And so, I'll do illustration, or I'll try something that I've never been done at. And, I'll get a lot of, oh, you're so bad at art. Like, I can't believe you did this. This is terrible. You should go see
What do you want from me?
It's really like, it's really frustrating sometimes because, but then again, that's all me. Like I shouldn't be listening to. I guess it's kind of confusing.
Yeah, especially when it's, and I feel like too, a lot of the time the audience is like, when they're requesting something, we do it, and then we see other people pooping on it or whatever, then it feels it. And like I'm sure you can relate to this. Like I try to go like, nope, those aren't the people who asked for it. But it almost feels like, come on, you guys asked for this and now you don't like it. But I know they're two separate things. But we as human beings, as people with emotions, we kind of want to lump together, and we see the people who are angry, the trolls that are saying mean things, and it feels like everybody's saying it,
Yeah, definitely. There was okay, so I used to have this store envy, but closed it down because I don't know. But anyway, one night on vacation, a little bit after Christmas. Do you know what Reddit is?
Yes.
Okay, so there's this subreddit called Delusional Artists.
Oh
and,
no.
and so I'm subscribed to it, And so anyway, I was scrolling through there, in the middle of the night, and then boom, there's my artwork. And so basically it was a thread, just some of it was very constructive criticism. I try to take even like really negative comments, even unconstructive comments. I always try to like take something out of them good,
Yeah.
And so yeah, I remember getting on there and like just reading, a lot of negative things about me. But because I read all those negative things about me, I did a video, talking about the main criticisms that people might have about me.
Yeah.
And it's one of my best videos, it's one of my most highly rated videos. I try to do something out of my comfort zone. I try to be open. I try to be honest. And I think people really appreciated that. And I also learned a lot about new techniques that I've never, been able to try before. And so yeah, I guess it's good to have haters. Not even haters, just like people, who want to criticize, which is good. I appreciate criticism, even if it's, very negative.
Yeah, absolutely. I had a video planned for a while of how to like, what is criticism, what is not criticism, what is criticism, but what's non-constructive criticism. It didn't end up coming to light for a couple reasons. It will eventually. But, I was kind of going through some of my, hate comments or some of my just, and I don't really classify people being like, hey, your art's really not good and you need to do this. Like that's meh. I constitute like hate comments as like, Emily, your face looks like the back of a foot.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, like that. I'm like, all right, I don't know what I can take from that. But, I think especially, internet content creators, as I've been mentioning, it's developing a thicker skin because we're not really, a lot of us are not thriving or existing really in gallery settings or environments where there is more constructive based criticism, where there is, there's still going to be people who don't love certain artworks, but it's more professional. Whereas online, it's just like, here you go, good luck. And a thick skin needs to develop.
Yeah, definitely. But for me personally, like, I feel like because, and it goes beyond just like the Reddit post, but like, even when I do get comments, like I truly, truly, truly believe that since I've started YouTube, I have learned so much. I have improved so much. I have, learned a lot because of, criticisms, because, that whole Reddit thread, it was like shocking at first, but, I learned a lot about what I could do to change something or improve on something. And, artwork it's very personal. So, it kind of stings a little bit, you're like, butthurt. Like, I can't believe you said that. But, it is good. It's hard, but it's good to look at things critically and not take things personally and, grow from anything and everything.
Yeah. And sifting through those really, critical comments and finding the gold in it, and absolutely just literally using a sifter through those, especially when they're pretty much strictly pertaining to your work. I think those are the most important comments to listen to when they're pertaining to your artwork, your YouTube, your editing style, the quality of your videos, what's in your videos, what you're talking about. It's important to listen a little, not a little bit, but a lot of it to that stuff, and just kind of filter out any choice words, any expletives that they may have. But I feel like, and like we were talking about earlier, it's far and few between to get comments that are like appearance based or, stuff like that here in the art community. But, and I think we all get them, but it's, again, far and few between those little ones compared to the genuinely wanting to help too. They're not these people aren't angry when they're commenting, look, this is bad and this needs work. They're not angry at all. They want to help. They want, you know what I mean? That
Yeah.
it's a good
Yeah.
thing. It's
Yeah.
almost a refreshing thing. Even if it hurts a little bit, they want to genuinely help. And I think that's what's amazing about the art community too.
Yeah, definitely. And even the people who don't want to help, you're still gaining, some insights. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? There's always a double-edged sword usually, and something you can grow off of and take off of. And yeah, it's given me a hard skin or thick skin, I
Yeah,
guess, and I've learned a
absolutely.
lot. And I and I'm grateful, to I'm grateful to have that mindset, I guess, because it's really easy to get butthurt, but yeah.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's an amazing way to look at it. I think that's great, and it's we've all kind of had to develop that mentality. You just have to get used to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really feel like it doesn't take much to get used to it. You just have to be a little bit more like I say introspective and objective, and not look at it from anything other than like what can I take that good from this. And that's pretty much
Yes.
kind of how you have to look at everything. It's like this
Yeah.
may hurt, but what can I take? What can I learn from this? And I think lessons are that's how we grow in
Yes.
general for everything.
Yeah, I think that all the time. Like, my mom's always like, oh, she gets like not butthurt, but she gets like mad at the comments, like, I read this about you, on the YouTube comments. But I'm grateful to have them. Like, even if they are mean, they still. I get like somebody commented the other day, like, this video sucks, and I wanted to know why. Why does it suck? Like, what can I do to make it better? Like, give me some criticisms. Like, I'm always open to criticisms, no matter how hard they hurt. um,
You know what's so funny? Uh, I don't know when it was, but it was an older video, and somebody was like, somebody needs to teach this girl how to draw. Was it hands? I don't remember. And I was like, or they said something like draw hands, and I know a couple things that I could show her, and I'm like, hey, DM me. And
yeah, really.
they sent me some really great models, and we had like a little discussion, and they're like, hey, I hope you didn't think I was like mad at you. I said, no, like this has helped tremendously. And I've done
Yeah,
that
I've
a
heard a
couple
lot of that
times.
too.
Yeah, because it's if they're just gonna say like, oh, this sucks, it's like, no, tell us more.
Why?
It
Why does
sucks.
it suck?
Tell us more, please. We want to know, because we genuinely do. We want to make good content. We want to make things that other people can enjoy. And not only that, but I think we want to make things that we're going to look back on and be proud of.
Yeah, 100%. And I've, been sassy in the comments before, like,
Oh, yeah.
but
We've all been
yeah,
there.
yeah, like I said, it's so personal, but yeah, I agree.
Question. We did good on that one. I'm proud of us.
Yeah.
All right. Question number 4. What has been the greatest driving force for you and your artwork?
The greatest driving force. Again, this is probably not going to make a lot of sense to people who aren't really the artsy type, but art is something that I can't not do, if
Mm,
that makes sense.
yeah.
It's something that I have to do. It's, I don't know how to explain it, and I'm not even too sure exactly what it is, but I can't, it's like a weird itch, I guess, and it's a weird itch I need to scratch. And if I don't have art, I don't have a way to express myself. Like, I just
Yeah.
don't feel like myself. And that's what I would say drives me, is like that need, just like that need to create.
Like breathing and eating. It's part of
Yeah. And a lot
existing.
of people might not get that, like a lot of people who don't do art, or maybe even like, people who work out, or somebody who, I don't even know how to explain it. And I read the question beforehand, and I don't know. I don't know how to explain it to somebody who's never had it before.
You're like, I do the thing.
I just need to do the thing.
The thing. If I don't do
Don't
the
feel right
thing,
if I don't do
I
it.
die. Yeah. I shrivel up and I die. And it kind of I that definitely, like, I totally feel you on that. I think a lot about like I know this sounds like weird, but like I think about people who don't do art, and I'm sure they have their own thing. You know, like everybody has a thing that they do, and
Yeah,
they
I
do the
agree.
thing. But
Yeah.
I'm like, how I couldn't fathom being locked in a room all day and not being able to art. Like I can't imagine it. It's
Yeah.
like I just can't, and I really understand. It's doing the thing. Like that's as simple as it is. It is.
Yeah, even if like I made artwork that nobody ever saw or like I would still do it all the
Yeah,
time.
absolutely. And you think back to before the internet, that's what we did.
Yep.
We arted. We did the thing, and thinking back to, when we were kids and sitting at a desk and doodling away. It's just eating and breathing. All right, number 5 is, was there ever a time in your art career where you almost gave up and chose a different path?
Again, this goes with like that perfectionist side of me, or like that, that anxiety that I have. I suffer with bad anxiety. Um, but yeah, just growing up, when the first time I was even thinking about going to school for college, second guessing myself, like I don't know if I'll be able to do this for a living, before I went to, study art. I was scared because there's not really a place where you can go and just be like, hi, I'm applying to be an art, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so for a while there, I was going to go into business administration. That's my degree. And I took one semester of that freaking class and I was like, nope, 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 nope. I'd rather be starving out on the street doing artwork than, having to do this business class because it's just not me.
Yeah.
It's just not what I'm, able to do.
The opposite of what
The
your soul
opposite of
is.
what yes. And so another time was whenever I was struggling really, really bad with my YouTube channel. I was going through some really, really, really hard times in my personal life, and I just wasn't able to make videos that well. And it was during like in the summertime, for those of you guys who are listening, like YouTubers go through like a dip because just a lot of people are busy during the summertime, and
Yeah.
your views go down. And so I was still pretty new to the game, so I didn't know this at the time. And I was like, oh my God, my YouTube channel's over. I'm gonna have to go, work at Big Five again.
I got canceled and I didn't even know it.
And so that was like probably the only other time that I was like, I'm gonna have to do something else, go apply at Subway or something, But luckily, I've still been able to keep this afloat, so I appreciate it. And everybody who watches me, thank you so much for supporting me. I truly, truly, truly mean that.
That's wonderful. And it's good to have when the views fluctuate, you still have, your subscribers that are there and they're kind and they're
Yes.
always saying just lovely things. Like we were kind of discussing earlier, just the best comments and the best feeling is having that support system.
Hmm.
Just people who, one, you, and I know you get them too, people saying like, oh, you've changed my life, or you've made me do this, and I wasn't going to do this, but now I'm going to do this. You guys have changed our lives,
Yeah.
and it's a powerful feeling, and I'm sure we're both very, very grateful for it. I'm sure every art
Yes.
YouTuber is, in general. Everybody, every YouTuber that has an audience, no matter how big or small, very grateful for that, because I think that drives. So back to the driving force, I think that drives a lot of us is continuing to support people who find support in our work.
Yes. 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 Yes.
Absolutely.
And it was it's always been like I always dreamed about being an artist when I was, in high school or whatever, but like just to have it, I'm gonna cry, but just to have it
Oh,
happen, almost to be at a million, a million people are almost subscribed to my channel. Like that
you're
is
so close.
nuts. That is so nuts. And I just sometimes when I'm feeling sad or bad or anything, I just think like, shoot, I got, people support me. People like my artwork. People like what I'm doing on here. And it's the best feeling in the world.
They want to hear what you have to say, and
Feels
they
good.
value it, and that is undeniably a very, very good feeling in it. And what's interesting, and I'll be curious your take on this, but to me, I think some people will look at it like, oh, that's just validation. But to me, it's not at all. It's a relationship. It is a friendship. It is a bond.
Yeah.
And even though it's comprised of many, many, many different people, it's a consistent relationship. It's not validation. Like they're not, it's not really the numbers or the likes. It's at the end of the day, you have people that care about you and you care about them and you care about what
Yeah.
happens to them.
Yeah. 100%. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
I love you guys.
I don't know why, but when you said I love you guys, I imagined you doing like the Nixon peace, the two. Vote for RaeDizzle for president. Okay, bye guys.
I wouldn't mind.
You just coming in a big Uncle Sam outfit to the debate. You're like, I'm in the wrong place. I'm just gonna go.
Well, I wouldn't be doing any worse than what's currently going on. So.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. We're doing so good so far. Number 6. How has your personal background affected your artwork?
I thought about this one for a long time last night, and I think it has a lot to do with where I'm from. Like in the Southwest, New Mexico, it's very empty here. There's not a lot of art around. I mean, there's like I think there's like 2 museums in my town. They're not really necessarily art galleries, just museums kind of thing. But yeah, growing up, I hardly knew any like full-time artists. There wasn't an internet, back when I was growing up, back young, we didn't really have that's a computer and stuff till I was older. So whenever I did see art, a lot of it was like Southwestern realism. A lot of it was based off of like the 1800s kind of thing, and like people painted what's around me, like what a lot of like landscape is popular where I'm from because New Mexico, the desert has a beautiful landscape. And so growing up and like seeing these hyper realistic oil paintings, at the museum, it was a treat. Like I loved doing that. I loved studying them from such a young age. And I loved seeing like the old masters in artwork, like we're talking Leonardo da Vinci, like seeing that always amazed me as a child, and it's always interested me. And so I guess that's what really started getting me going with like my painting, my oil painting and my realism, and trying to like, get that contrast that comes with like oil painting. And I definitely say that the Southwestern art around me has inspired me a lot. And, as a teenager, I was rebellious, like, oh, I hate my town. I hate this. But no, I'm so grateful that I got to, whenever art was so rare, I guess, that whenever I would see it, it was such a treat.
I guess I didn't even think of it that way too, because that's a really good point. It's what you're exposed to, and I'm sure probably part of you felt like a pebble of sand in a field of grass because there wasn't so much art around you, and it probably contributed to feeling like, okay, this is something that is it going to be attainable or not? And I'm sure it probably contributed to probably your drive, because you wanted it so badly, but you were like I said, a pebble of sand in a field of grass, trying to be different and kind of carve your own path, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's been fun, growing up. And so now, the first time that I went to like a huge museum was in 2017. My dad and I had went to the Dallas Museum of Art, and that was like, I'm not kidding you when I say a life-changing event for me, because to see like all this artwork that I've seen. I saw Frida Kahlo. They had a gallery for her, a traveling gallery, and to see it in real life was literally a life-changing event. To see all these artworks, and so still to this day, like every time I go out of town or something, like a lot of people like, hey, let's go here, let's go drink, let's go to the bar, let's go, no, I want to go to the museums. I want to go see the artwork. I want to go. I want to enjoy and express and like, it's still one of my favorite things to this day is to see artwork. It's such a treat.
Absorb like a sponge.
Yes, yes.
And that is, and that's just it. That's what we do, creative minds, artists, just absorbing, like you said before, the world around us, but also other creators and other content and the beauty in it and the diversity. That's how art happens is
Yes.
somebody gets inspired by a bunch of different things and creates
Yes.
kind of an amalgam of all those things and goes, this is an art. I did an art. Look.
But you know what's really weird about me is that I don't have a sketchbook. I don't.
Really?
Yeah, no, I've never been one to sketch, which again probably goes with like my perfection. But I like taking pictures. I like writing down ideas, and then I like to do a big art piece based on that.
Interesting. I mean, do you
Or
normally like do drafts or do you just go like, okay, I'm
I
doing
just
it
go
on
straight.
this? Really?
But it's not good. It's not good. I like I said, I struggle with like letting loose and stuff. So yeah, I guess I probably should start a sketchbook, but I just don't know how, I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think also there's a lot of pressure because I'm sure you've watched sketchbook flip through videos and it's like, those look
Yeah.
beautiful.
Oh my God.
And my
I'm like, I'm
sketchbooks are
never
like,
gonna be like that.
I ended up like when I really started doing YouTube seriously, I was like, I'm gonna have a sketchbook, and then I'm also gonna have a sketchbook where I try to put things that are just more attractive and that feel attractive to make and feel good for me to make, because I think there's nothing more satisfying than holding either a sketchbook or like a wad of your creations and you feel the texture of the paper and the weight of your work. And it's like, it's in your hands and the paper's slightly warped from being worked on. Like there's nothing more satisfying than just like having multiple pieces that you're proud of. You know what I mean? Whether it be in
Yeah.
a sketchbook or have it loose sleeved individual final pieces. And so yeah, I finally was like, you know what, I'm just going to make a sketchbook where I just kind of dick around and practice anatomy where everything's ugly, but
Yeah,
no
good
one
for
will
you,
ever
dude.
see
That's
this.
awesome.
And that's,
Inspiring.
yeah, I mean, like if you wanted to start a sketchbook, I totally like just for like peace of mind, because I know like it's impossible to escape that feeling of like, but theirs looks so pretty. Doing like
It's
an
not
ugly
only
one.
that, I just feel like, well, why am I sketching in the sketchbook when I could be making something for Instagram, or I could be making
Ah,
something for this, or I can be making, you know what I mean? I struggle, and this is hard for me to talk about. I don't think I've ever talked about it, but it's hard for me to not make art for other people, but to make
yeah,
art for only myself.
yeah. I think
And so that's something I'm currently struggling with.
yeah, I think that's so funny. I don't remember who it was, but I was on Twitter and another big YouTube artist said literally the exact same thing, because I think it's so a unique problem to online content creators is where do we draw the line between creating for others and creating for our own peace of mind?
Yeah.
It's like, oh,
Because at any point in time, because that's the thing with like a normal job, you're working 9 to 5, and then when you come home, you're home. But with us, we're always, well, you could be putting this here, you could be putting that there. You know what I mean? Like there's not a limited amount of time that you could be like uploading something to the internet, you know?
yeah,
Does
and
that make sense?
yeah, like there's always time that you could be working, and if you're not, there's like a guilt there. There's
Yeah.
like a ooh, I should be working even though I put in 10 hours today already.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and as an artist it never stops either, like laying there in the middle of the night, your eyes just boom wide open,
Yep.
Squidward style, I could be doing this right now, you know.
Oh yeah.
Or
For me personally, when inspiration hits, it hits, honey. Like I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to get it done now.
you're just walking casually in a mall and then you just start just booking in people you're with are like, what the no, Ray just got an idea, let her go, girls, let her
No,
go.
that literally does happen. I'm not kidding.
Really?
I have on my phone, I have tons and tons of just notes. Well, I'll just stop and I'll just write something down, or
Yes.
just all like pictures. I collect a lot of information. I don't know, just the artist in us.
Like a little pack rat with a little like
Yeah.
little nest filled with images, and or like I bet you do this too, like just saving stuff on Google Images or like screenshotting in Pinterest, like on your phone. It's like
Oh yeah.
pictures of my son afoot, like
Yeah.
but this fit was
Yeah.
beautifully shot. Believe you me. But I totally feel that 100%, like what you're describing. And I'm sure a lot of the people watching this right now know exactly what you're talking about. I feel like going forward, the podcast will all end up kind of sounding similar because people, we have very similar mindsets. A lot of online content creators do.
And I think that's why we get along so well, is because each of us have like that artistic drive in us.
Yes, yes, the ability to just book it and ditch everyone to draw like a leaf.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody get me a napkin and a pen immediately. I need to draw a leaf. Okay, just do what she says. Everybody calm down. Okay, this one I'm really excited to hear what you have to say. Number 7 is, what is something you would tell your past young artist self?
Girl, you need to fill in those eyebrows. No, I'm kidding. No, I would tell myself, like, you just need to practice, 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 and just keep going and believing in yourself. But, I did really believe in myself. Like I said, I promised to myself when I was in college, like, I can't do business. I absolutely have no choice but to be an artist. It's too far to go back now. So I guess the only thing I would say is just keep practicing. Don't be afraid to like spend money on art supplies. Don't be afraid to invest in yourself and just keep practicing. What would you say to yourself?
Don't do drugs. That would be one of them, obviously.
Oh
Like,
my
hey,
gosh.
heads up. But the other one would probably be, in terms of like, artistic things, is don't let what you think your art is, like, bad. Essentially, don't let those negative feelings that you have about your work destroy your passion. And don't stop making what you love. Just like as simple as that. And
Yes.
what's funny is, like, I feel like a lot of us, it's just a very simple thing. It's like, don't stop, do the thing. to quote from earlier, but I think a lot of us, and this is a big message I like to have on my channel constantly, is do what you love. Constructive criticism is important. Practicing is important. Anatomy is important. Learning color theory is very important. It's all incredibly important, but don't ruin what you love by being like,
Yes.
I can't create this. I like to create this, but I can't do it because it's not what I'm supposed to be doing. Unless you've got like a deadline or you're in college and you need to figure something out. Like, if you're just drawing and creating, just do it. Just create.
And I have this saying on my channel that's you do you, boo boo.
And I love it. I love it because that's so important. I love that. I love that you're spreading that message because it's true. We got to do what we love.
Yes.
And we can't kick ourselves in the ass too hard.
I struggle.
Absolutely. It's like we just want to. It's so complicated, yet it's so simple. It's just
Yes, it's a very unique problem.
don't sweat, do the thing. Like,
Yeah.
and I'm sure a lot of people probably experience it on different levels for different things, and it's not exclusive to artists, but ours is just a different struggle and formulated in a different way. Number 8 is, if you could change one thing about your art career, what would it be?
I guess it would, again, just be like back to that same old problem. Just let loose, like make art for myself. I know that might be repetitive at this point, but just relax, Ray.
Yeah, it's clearly a prevalent thing that you've always kind of had to carry, and it's a strong internal battle. I totally get that. I guess that was it for that one.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I don't really have much to say for that. That's like literally my only thing I would change is just same thing.
Would you even have started earlier, like just not even attempted that semester with the business administration? Would you
No,
maybe?
I'm actually glad that happened because, like I said, I really got my butt into gear because I was already investing money, in college, and
Yeah.
My parents, they didn't have a lot of money to like, take me to pay for my college or anything. So I had to be very, very, very careful with what I did. And I spent a lot of time in college, just working my ass off, and planning for the future of how am I going to be an artist. And I've always been a very driven person. And so, like I said, it's my own worst enemy because I'm so driven, because I'm such a perfectionist, because I stress so much. It hinders my creativeness,
Yeah, like you said before, a total double-edged sword. And
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but I love that you wouldn't change. I love that you wouldn't change that, because that's just saying right then and there that was a mistake, or that was not even a mistake, but that was a misstep, slightly in the wrong direction, not too far in the wrong direction, that you needed to make in order to be like, nope, art's my thing. And I love
Hmm.
that you wouldn't change that. I think that's a
And
really
let's be
interesting.
real here. I probably wouldn't have been able to pass calculus. You know what I mean? Like that first year, I failed algebra 2 or whatever it was in college because I'm so bad at math. So that was like another factor, was like, because the art degree, you didn't have to take calculus. So that was another thing where I was like,
You're like, this is a very lofty decision. I'm going to go with art. Yeah, calculus is a pain in the rump.
And it's really interesting because in college, I had worked with, I don't even know what he was. He did like theoretical math, if that makes sense. Like he would like create math, like he tried to explain it to me, but like it was really interesting because he was so like with his math and what I do with art, it was almost a really similar kind of thing in the fact that we're both constantly creating, problem solving, balancing, and so even though my brain doesn't necessarily work well with math, it was interesting to see how like different people's brains work.
Yeah, like a parallel of
Yeah. Yeah.
desire to create, but in completely separate ways.
Yeah, it was really interesting. And yeah. And even with my boyfriend, he's a spectrophotometrist and,
Ooh.
he works in a lab and, things that because like I said, I'll like, just stare at stuff, but he works in a way where he'll do that with a lot of like nature and like he'll take apart stuff and put it back together. And, it's just interesting to see how like different brains work.
Yeah, yeah, and then the complexities, how they're similar,
Yeah,
with
but in
different
different
functions.
ways.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
absolutely. It's yeah, back to that kind of analogy of blocks and blobs. And my husband's a mechanic, so he's like gears. There's
Mhm.
blocks and gears and blobs, but it's really interesting too because my son is a lot like me already. He behaves a lot like me. But one of the things that he does that, because my husband is so technical in
Yeah.
everything he does. He doesn't open his mouth unless he's very much thought about what he's going to say. Not only that, but I notice my son, when he's trying to solve a more complex problem, he doesn't just do it right away. He stops, he steps back, he looks at it, and you just see his little gears turning in his head. And
Aw.
I'm looking at him, I'm like, you look just like your dad, but
Aw.
with baby hands.
Aw, that's so
I
sweet.
know, it's so cute. And then he'll think about it, and then he'll go, okay. And he'll then go from there and do kind of trial and error. But just seeing that and how he does that. And I'm like, that's 100% your father. Because I'm just like, I'm going to touch the buttons until something works. Good luck. So it's
Aw.
just interesting you
Yeah.
say that because it's fascinating to watch minds be molded and minds, just be, it's innate. He functions that way from birth.
Yeah.
And it's incredible. And who knows if he'll be an artist or a mechanic or something completely different. And it's
Mhm.
just fascinating to see how a mind is made and how the environment affects growth and affects everything. And I think it interesting when you talk about being from a small town and not being exposed to art yet, like a lily, through, or what is it, a lily through the mud or whatever, you still blossomed and became an artist against,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
all odds. You were
Mhm.
driven, like you said, it was just,
Yeah.
it was in you. The fire was in you. The
Yeah.
coal fire was burning. You were chewing down the track to be an artist. And I think that's wonderful and a testament to your strength, really.
And I think that's another reason why, I like to, again, that's another reason why I like to do realism so much is because, people who are in my region, that's what they like. And it's just, it's such a wonderful way to connect.
Yeah, and it's like I said, it's guaranteed. People are like, "That's a thing. I know the thing." That, and
Yeah.
it's
It's wonderful.
you're not going. But how does it make you feel?
Yeah.
Here is a stick. Tell me what this is. I made this stick. I mean, I found it in the backyard, but it's modern art, so I made this stick. But yeah, that's so many interesting things in this world that are meant to be dissected. Metaphorically, of course. Number 9, what can people take away from your artwork?
I guess that I want everybody who sees my artwork to be inspired. I want, I just, I guess I just want a connection and I want people to be inspired. And, even if it makes them feel some type of way, that's, a great feeling.
Yeah, Absolutely. I mean, and like, even unrelated to the art too, if they see you creating and they go, wow, I want to do that, that's probably something you enjoy equally.
Yes, it's a really great way to, and because I'm so like antisocial and awkward, to create artwork that like connects me to people or inspires somebody. It's like it does the talking for me kind of thing, and it's a really great way to feel human.
That's a really, I love that. That's very, very much true. It's a way to express the colorful rainbow that's inside you without having to be, enormously outgoing and crazy.
Yeah.
It's like somebody can kind of take a little peek inside RaeDizzle's head. Number 10, it's not a question, but please name 3 artists, alive or dead, that you think deserve more attention.
Zabio Arts on YouTube. Please go check him out. He is like, I was talking to I was going on a rant last night to my boyfriend. I was like, man, if everybody knew who Zabio was, he would be the biggest art YouTuber in the world. He's like my favorite. Andrew, if you are watching this, on behalf of all butt pandas, you're the best. Everybody who's watching this, please go check out his channel. He is incredible. He has taught me so much about art. His editing's awesome. His voice is awesome. He's an awesome human being. He does really interesting topics and just all around. You're never going to find an art YouTuber like Zabio. I'm passionate about that. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, when I see his videos, I'm like, I get mad because I'm like, this needs more views. Like, everybody, I'm not kidding. Go subscribe to him. So yeah, that would be my first one that I think deserves way more recognition. I'm drawing a blank right now.
That's totally okay.
I got so involved with the Zabio thing, and like I'm drawing a blank.
You're like, I put all my energy into this. I put all the eggs in this basket.
Yeah, 100%. Like, dude, seriously, everybody, I'm not kidding.
I'm gonna put like a little scroll through of his channel. I'll get the spelling afterwards on here so people know what to look for.
And of course, I'm gonna say like all my YouTube friends. Like, of course, I want everybody to go watch their channels and support them, and the art community in general. Of course, I'm always gonna say that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a great community. I mean, it's, I guess I couldn't ask for anything more to be a part of. And, I mean, I'm just really happy that you agreed to come on this podcast and think about yourself and talk about your life and your art. And I really think your viewers are going to be really excited to hear this and hear you talk candidly.
Yeah, it was really awesome to be able to like open up about stuff that normally I don't open up about. And it was nice to just finally be like open and honest and truthful and like, talk about, regrets and things that I want different and things that I want to change and criticisms and, just talk about stuff that's not just related to, art, but like behind the canvas, it feels good. It feels good. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad on behalf of the art community, thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it.
I kind of look too, and thank you. I was like, I don't want to be stepping on anybody's toes, and I hope this isn't already a thing. And I looked up behind the canvas. There's a book that was written, I don't know how many years ago, that's it. I just felt like, that sounds like a kind of a stereotypical name. I hope I'm not screwing anyone over.
Oh, it's good. That's a good name.
Yeah, I think we needed something like this, and not that I think I'm the best person for the job, but I'm sure as hell gonna try and see if it works. I mean,
so you've been asking me questions this whole time. Can I end this podcast with asking you a question?
Sure.
Okay. Like I said, I'm open to criticism. So what criticisms do you have for me?
Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, I think putting a little bit more complexity in your art. I know you love realism, and I know that there's, that's just at your core, you love to create that, but maybe make it something weird.
Yeah.
And just a little bit. I mean, your art's very complex in the sense that there's so much detail, and there's like, I mean, you see your hand work. I mean, it's steady. It's the tiniest little details, and it's complex in that sense. But I'd love to see something from RaeDizzle that's weird, like just like, what is going on? Like, what does it mean? What does it all mean?
Yes, I love that.
And that's probably just part of your own, like you said earlier, like stepping outside your comfort zone and just not caring, just kind of going and be like, all right, I'm going to make something weird. And I guess it might just also be a personal preference of mine that I like seeing things that are really weird, but I'd love to see something like that
Well,
from you.
yeah, I love that. All right, thank you.
Of course. Actually, I was gonna ask you one more thing.
Oh, yeah, what's
Do you
up?
have like a weird story or something to end this? Like something funny that happened to you, or just something good that
It's
you
art
could
related or
just kind of in general, just something that you think is funny, some funny anecdote, something that you remember well.
oh man, I have an embarrassing. Okay, I have one embarrassing art story.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so there was this boy in high school that I was literally in love with. He had no idea who the heck I was, throughout the whole time. But I'm not kidding. It was like one of those stupid high school dramas where like the hot girls walking down the hallway and like all the angels are, kind of thing.
They're
That's how
flipping
it
their
was with
hair.
him. Yeah, that's how it was with him. And so anyway, he got moved into my senior art class, and and I was like so obsessed with this dude. Every time I'd be like, "Oh, he's so hot," but I never talked to him like ever because I was a dork in high school, and I don't know. I he was kind of like a I don't even know, but anyway, I had a huge crush on him. So the whole entire year, my whole entire plots to like talk to him, get his attention. Now as an adult, I would have just been like, "Hey, you want to go out?" No, okay, cool. But back then, I was like thinking of all these like crazy little things of like what I could do to like say hi to him or talk to him. So anyway, the whole entire all the high school goes by. It's literally the last day of art class. And so my teacher's like, well, as a goodbye thing, we'll go outside and do some chalk art. We'll, do a little thing outside on the sidewalk. So everybody get grouped into groups and I'll meet you guys outside. And so everybody leaves outside except for the teacher. So I go up to the teacher and I'm like, okay, please put me in a group with, we'll just say his name was, I don't know, Jason, maybe Jason. Put me in a group with Jason, please. Okay, cool, whatever. Because the teacher and I were like buddy buddy. So she's like, yeah, cool, whatever. So anyway, I remember like walking out there with the chalk and I was like, okay, this is my chance to shine. Like I'm going to get his attention with this really good artwork. And like I said, remember from earlier, I get lost in my artwork. I don't really pay attention to things around me because I get so involved. So anyway, I was like, I'm going to give him my all. This is my last chance to talk to him before graduation, kind of thing. And so I remember like getting so involved. I started drawing and the group, it was a very small group. I think there was maybe other 3 or 4 people in the group behind me waiting for their turn. But I was like getting involved because I was like, the artist of the group. And so one of my friends was also in that little group. And so as I was drawing, I kept hearing him say, Ray, Ray, Ray. And finally I got so annoyed. I'm like, what is it? What do you want? Like, cause I was trying to like focus on this cause the bell was about to ring. I had limited time. So I was like, what do you want? And he was like, your back. And I said, what about it? So I reach over and touch my back and my whole entire ass was hanging out for the whole thing. And so like the whole time I was getting involved in this drawing, the dude, my ass was hanging out.
No.
It's so embarrassing. Oh my God. Long story short, that guy and I literally never even dated or anything near that because I'm a dork. So
You full on
know.
Mario the plumber that situation right there.
So
Oh my
embarrassing.
god. Oh my god. I
In
can't.
fact, I've had so many embarrassing moments with that kid. I want to make a whole video about it, dude. Like,
Yes.
so I'm lucky I met my boyfriend Zach. He's just as awkward as me, and
He
it
gets it.
worked out in the end.
But did the chalk art turn out? How'd that turn out? Like I'm curious about that.
It was like a landscape thing, and after I touched my butt, like I was just so embarrassed. Like I don't even remember.
Blanked out.
I think I did like a okay, I think it was like a mix of like MC Escher. It was like a really weird chalk thing and it didn't even turn out that good. And after my butt was hanging out, I just got so embarrassed. I like gave it over to somebody else and
No.
I just sulked in the corner the whole time like uh
Oh my god. That's like a good like classic. I know it embarrassed the shit out of you, but it's like that's a good wholesome classic like embarrassing high school story. I love like the good like nobody like got hurt except for our egos like, but I just
yeah, my life, dude. We should call each other back sometime and I'll tell you all my embarrassing stories because I have so many.
that would be like a good addendum to like a follow up with SuperRaeDizzle just like talking about random stuff and
Yeah, that'd be fun.
yeah, because it's like Lord knows. Lord knows all the things that go on in our brains, and oh man. But I just this was a lot of fun, and I'm really
Yeah, it
happy we could do
was.
this.
Yeah, me too. I really appreciate it. And thank you for giving me like, a platform to talk on. And yeah, it's been wonderful.
Absolutely. All right, I'm going to close this out. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, please go and subscribe to Super Dizzle. Her
And
channel will
also
be
Zabio.
Oh, and Zabio. Yes, yes. Wait. I'm pretending to like throw something back up on the screen, but I'm actually going to do that. Don't forget to subscribe to Zabio Arts. That is the #1 recommended channel from SuperRaeDizzle. You
Yes.
heard it here first. So make sure to subscribe to both of them. I will have their channels linked down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hey, do you want to say the outro with me?
What's the outro?
My outro, I always go, don't forget to stay out of trouble. I say it every single video. I didn't know if I wanted to continue to do it on the
Oh, okay.
podcast.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. I didn't know if you made a new one up for the podcast, but yeah, let's go ahead and do it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for watching. And
And
don't
don't
forget
forget to
to
stay
stay
out
out of
of trouble.
trouble. See you guys later.